Welcome to the Be Your Soul podcast, a semi-monthly podcast about energy, self-growth, and the soul. I'm your host, Sky Bradshaw. Each episode, we will have 3 segments to support the energy of your authentic self. The unclouded heart, opening space for spirits and the universe to bring forward nuggets of wisdom rooted in the current episode's topic. Skylights, exciting, knowledgeable, and helpful guest interviews. And that's what Sky says, full of exercises, tools, and guidance on how to do the work. Today's topic is divine timing, and our guest will be Cindi McNulty of Essential Zodiac, followed by helpful tips and tools to tune in to divine timing for yourself. Now let's take a moment to invite space to receive the episode. Find yourself in a relaxed space and invite your energy to tune in and relax, 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 relax. Relax, 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 relax. Relax, 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 relax. And as we move into a space of complete relaxation, we open up our energies to the ancestors, loved ones, and friends to come together today to heal and guide us and lift us to the highest version of ourselves in the light of the universe. So we may hear what we need to hear, know what we need to know, connect how we need to connect, and be what we need to be for our highest and best good and the highest and best good of all involved. And as we sit in this space, allowing ourselves to receive, we can tune into divine timing and what that may mean for you. Divine timing is having trust and faith that everything will happen in alignment with the sacred timing of your soul. When we can lean into self-trust and trust of the universe, when we can allow ourselves to listen and to hear, when we can give ourselves permission in the pause as much as it is in the action, then we can allow ourselves to tune into that right space of divine timing. This isn't always easy. We often find our monkey mind or our critic trying to tell us all the reasons why we should rush forward. We live in a society where production and productivity is a way of life. We constantly have buzzers and notices and things that call our attention that say, act, act, act right now. And one of the things that we know is that when we move into reply, respond, react, then we find ourselves out of our center. It takes us away from who we are at our core. We're in this hands out into the universe, off balance position, instead of tuning into the truth of our center with action, choice, and decision. Having faith in divine timing is active participation in our forward focus through listening, through choices, through tuning into our soul. And as the saying goes, Spirit says, meet me halfway and I will see you there. So as we listen to the call and then make the choice to respond, it creates a sacred flow. It opens space for us to listen. It opens space for us to tap into ways of doing things with patience and heart-centered connections. Like the rhythm in music, the pause is just as important as the beat. And when we have faith and trust in divine timing, then we follow that flow with the beauty of adaptation and fluidity. Like water, water is what it needs to be. It can be still or rapid, dirty or clean, steam or ice. And when we tune into the divine energy of divine timing, it allows us to get whatever is needed in that moment and be whatever we are needed to be in that moment. It tunes us in immediately to our highest and best good. through the trust of divine timing.
Production of the Be Your Soul podcast is made possible in part by Island of Salvation Botanica. A visit to the Island of Salvation Botanica will enlighten you in the rich blend of culture and spiritual traditions that is New Orleans. The shop carries Vodou religious supplies, medicinal herbs, works of art, and more. It's considered to be one of the most authentic Vodou shops in New Orleans by locals and visitors alike. Located in a project co-developed by Sally Ann Glassman, the New Orleans Healing Center on St. Claude Avenue is only steps away from the French Quarter. Stay tuned to learn about divine timing with astrologer Cindi McNulty, our guest today on Skylights.
I am really excited today to bring our guest on, who is Cindi McNulty from Essential Zodiac. And for me personally, she is my astrologer. She is the person I call when I want to know what's going on with the planets and how I can kind of map out my path plan in alignment with the astrological charts. I feel like it's an energy map that allows us to forecast what's to come so we can see those energies before we get to them. Even when I started planning this podcast, I called Cindi and I was like, Cindi, tell me the days that are good for this. So please welcome. I am so excited to have you. Thank you for being here.
Oh, you're welcome, Sky. Thank you. I'm so excited to be here as well. Sky and I go back lots of years. We're great friends and colleagues. So this is a real thrill for me. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Of course. So I brought Cindi on today to talk about divine timing because when we look at astrology and our path plan, I am a huge fan and big proponent of divine timing, allowing things to open up as they do, using that divine sacred energy. And so I thought we just kind of chat into divine timing. And how do you feel that astrology helps us align when it comes to divine timing?
Well, that's a very, very good question. Very interesting, too, because astrology, by its very nature, is all about timing.
Right.
Right? For an astrologer to cast your natal chart, one of the things we ask for right off the bat is what time you were born. We need the day, of course, the location, Winston-Salem, North Carolina. But most important is we need the time. And that is a key component because as the planets orbit the sun, they move into different signs on different days at different times. So, for example, we just had the spring equinox on March 20th of this year, right? And the sun moved into Aries at 5:24 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So what this means is if a child is born on March 20th or has been born on March 20th prior to 5:24, that child's sun sign is a Pisces. If the child was born at 5:24 or later, that child is an Aries. And that's an interesting dynamic when you have twins because the ascendant that I'm talking about and the sun sign, they don't hang around for long. It's like, 2 hours here, 15 minutes, whatever. So you could have your twins with completely different charts, which I find extremely fascinating. So timing is also important when we look at what we call electional astrology. And that's what Sky was talking about a little bit before when she called me and said, hey, what are the good days coming up for me? These are the things I want to do. So I have Sky's natal information and I performed my magic, printed out her charts and said, hey, you have all this great energy coming your way. But, here are also, the pitfalls or the challenges that you want to be aware of and plan for.
Which I'm so grateful for.
Oh, you're welcome. Well, yeah, it's like you're not blindsided. You're going along, skipping along, trying to plan something. And all of a sudden, like this huge boulder goes into your path and you're like, what? So it's like, it's like, oh, yeah, Cindi told me about this boulder. Let me take the fork in the road, right? So, I have clients asking me all the time for different electional charts, getting married, buying a house. Some people also plan their families. They want to try to have compatible sun sign children. So I've had a couple of clients do that.
And surgeries, that's another one.
Oh, yeah. Now, I personally don't do medical astrology, but I have colleagues who do because it's quite specialized. Really, really quite specialized because, of course, you're dealing with a lot of factors, not just the stars. So that I don't do. But yes, surgery is a very important one. I would say generally, I wouldn't want to have surgery, electional surgery during a Mercury retrograde. I mean, sometimes you do. I mean, if it's life-threatening, you got to do what you got to do. But try to stay away from anything dramatic during the retrogrades in general. So, for example, Mercury retrograde, you wouldn't want to buy a house, nor would you want to get married. Mercury rules communication, and you want your communication not to have any problems. You want it flowing smoothly.
So in that Mercury retrograde, one of the things that I believe is that everything has a shadow and a light. Like it has a, challenge aspect, but it also has what is the purpose? Like what is the good side that we can see? So if you had to point one thing out that would be maybe positive or progressive, something you should do during Mercury retrograde or something that Mercury retrograde could be helpful for, what would you think that would be?
So, yeah, this is what I advise my clients because, we can't go stay in our beds with the covers pulled over for the 3 weeks Mercury's retrograde. So let's use it to our advantage. And one of the advantages is it's kind of a cosmic holding pattern. You're not moving forward, but now's the time to do research. Let's say, you want to buy a house. Well, now's the time to get on Zillow and look at all the neighborhoods, look at all the houses you like, do your research. So anything research retrograde. It's also a good time to take a look at projects that you've put aside for whatever reason. Take them out, look at them. Maybe it's time to rework them. Maybe it's time to, finagle them a little bit. So when when Mercury goes direct, you can work on them again. So it's a revision of our lives. I'll tell you one thing that Mercury retrograde is successful, and I find this funny, is if you were remarrying your partner. I had a client do this. Her partner had gotten divorced. 3 years later, they get back together, and they wanted to get married during this particular time, and it was Mercury retrograde. And I had to think about it, and I had a little powwow with a colleague, and we're like, you know what? It's a redo. Go for it. And they're going on 10 years now, happy as clams. So, but retrograde isn't. It's about reworking and revising what we have.
I kind of see it as like a cosmic pause.
Right.
To take inventory and be aware of where you are. And, you're not actually, instilling or making the action of change, but you're reviewing what changes might need to be made, or it's like this cosmic pause of tuning in to what might be needed, how you can get the ingredients of what might be needed, taking that inventory, and then when it goes direct, then you make the actions of those things in whatever way.
Exactly. And I think all of us have such busy lives that we don't stop and think, we don't take the time to say, okay, where am I? Where do I need to go? And so, we have Mercury retrograde 3 or 4 times a year, quarterly, if you would. I would like it to be someone's friend instead of something to be feared. It's like, oh, okay, I get this time to, see where I'm going. And we all need that. We all need that evaluation of where our life is taking us.
And use the right tool for the job,
Exactly.
That's what I think retrograde can really be, is like understanding, now is the time to work with this particular energy versus the time to work with that particular energy. It gives us that space for pause.
Exactly.
So how do you believe like trusting that timing can help create balance and growth in someone's life? Like how can they use this other than obviously calling you, which they should, but like how do they how do they use it to like tune in that balanced way? Just like we were saying, retrograde has a purpose and it also has a shadow. Like how do we use it?
All right. So looking at divine timing, it's the belief that everything occurs exactly when it's supposed to.
Yeah.
Okay. So by accepting this thought, we have to accept that everything that happens in our lives, from the most ordinary, mundane events to the big drastic ones, everything is controlled by something that is more powerful than ourselves.
Yeah.
We are divine creatures. All of us have inside of us that spark of the divine. Okay, spark of divinity. I try to remember that when I'm dealing with difficult people, especially the last 3 years has really pushed me on this belief. And I'm like, yes, they're part of the divine. They're part of the divine.
That's the whole base of what I want. Like the fundamental foundation of this podcast really is like when the one is strengthened, the sum is strengthened.
Yes,
and so we have to remember, like, if we are a greater connective piece of the divine, then in doing my own personal work, then other people benefit from that.
Exactly. Like when I am in control, I certainly interact with others around me, in a better way, better fashion. So remembering that spark of divinity. Also, too, when we look at divine timing, when we trust with divine timing, it also lets us know that we're not always in control. And in a way, that is a freeing concept. For someone like myself, which is kind of a type A, I mean, I'm a Leo sun, come on, we like things our own way, done our own way, right? So one of the biggest life lessons I had to learn was to let things go, to be patient. I'm still a work in progress with that.
Aren't we all?
Yeah.
That's the truth.
But, so everything good takes time. Especially when you're looking at making a profound change in your life, whatever that might be, that's not going to happen overnight.
Right.
And sometimes it's not going to happen on your timetable.
That's the truth.
Yeah. It's like for whatever reason. And in my own life, I have seen that where I've wanted to make a certain change. I tried my best, and that year it just didn't happen. But other things came along, and I was like, if I had gotten what I wanted, this would now be a real problem.
Right.
So you have to trust in that divine timing is there for your own good, in a way.
That's the truth. So I'm going to ask every guest these certain questions. And so the first one is, what do you think it is? What do you think it means to you to be your soul?
Yeah, this is interesting. I was raised Catholic before I dropped out. So the whole concept of a soul is not a foreign concept to me. It's just been reevaluated. So when I think of my soul, and this is my understanding of it. The soul is who we are, why we exist, and what we're seeking. I believe it's becoming consciously aware of who you are as a soul, so you can evolve by allowing your divine nature or source energy to be expressed through you. Another way to look at this is expressing ourselves in the most simplest way. When, you talk about bearing your soul or whatever, you're being very vulnerable with another person. You're being very intimate. Yeah. When I tell someone, a deep, dark secret, I'm trusting in them to, protect me or absorb that. So I also think being your soul is being authentic.
Yeah.
Being authentic, walking, the walk, talking the talk. Hypocrisy is not being your soul. Quite the opposite. Quite the opposite.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Thank you.
So what's one thing that you do no matter what to get your self-care in every day?
So, this has been a lifelong process, but I have finally, I think, come to something that has really helped me in the last couple of years. I guess when I turned 50, several years ago, I looked at my life and I was like, damn, it's half over, right? So we need to take stock. And I started saying no to things. And it wasn't easy at first. I'm sitting here saying, I said no. It was hard because even though I like my own way, I'm a people pleaser because my ascendant is Pisces and we're all watery and lovey and all that. So saying no was difficult. But I also had the benefit of initiating into my coven, which gave me some tools to help me along with that. But one of the things I was no longer going to apologize for who I was. I am not a morning person. Never was, never will be. You want a friend to talk to at 2:00 in the morning? I'm your girl. But do not call me at 7 a.m. because no. So I had to be for many years. I had a job outside my home. I had kids to get to school. I had all these obligations and responsibilities. So, you put your big girl pants on and you do what you got to do. But now, I have my own business, so I can make my own hours, right? And what I do every morning, I get up about 9:30. I do this magical operation that I've learned way in the beginning of my spiritual journey. It's called Lesser Banishing of the Pentagram. It's a magical operation. So every day I do that because I want my space nice and clear and tidy. I work out of my home office as well, so I want everything spiritually ready. And then maybe I'll pull a tarot card. Maybe I have affirmation cards. I have a very special deck I've been using a lot called The Art of Energy by yours truly, Sky over here.
That's a fantastic deck.
You got to get it. If you don't have it, you're missing out. It's great. And I use that. No, it's true. Like, I'll do that as an affirmation. I'll pick a card and work on that, whatever that has to be. And I find that when I do those things, when I have my routine, the rest of the day falls into place, and when something, and of course, not being a morning person, I'm not firing on all cylinders right away, coffee or not, it takes me a while to get going. So, but when I do, I'm ready for the day. I'm ready for whatever challenge might come my way, because I do get calls from clients who, have a problem or something happened. I got a lot of calls, of course, during COVID and the preceding years. People were getting laid off. People were sick. So, I had to be sharp. I had to be there for my clients. So that's what I do.
And a morning routine is just, it's like giving yourself permission to start in your center every day compared to like reactionary, like let me see what's coming up. I've got to, respond, react, reply to all these things. It's like, no, wait, let me get my center first. Hold that space so I know where I'm going from there.
Yeah, so definitely.
So speaking of centered and balanced, what does that look like in your life? Like, how do you create like balanced and centered space other than your morning routine?
Right. Well, it's definitely calmness. And another thing, you were talking about being reactionary. That's another thing I have tried to get a handle on. Like not reacting negatively right away to a situation, where I'm like, okay, I don't have enough information to make a decision here. So let me do some research. Let me ask some questions.
Yeah.
The other way, which is interesting, that I'm centered and balanced, is it's not easy, but I have let go of the decisions my adult children are making.
Oh, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
Super tough one.
I know. I've had some practice over Audrey. My kids are in their late 30s, early 40s. And the way I look at it, I did my job. Jay and I did our job. We raised really great human beings. Now they have to do what they need to do. And the fact that I just listen and don't react and don't give an opinion unless I'm really asked for, then it's not my problem. It's their problem, right? And especially now we have a granddaughter, our Vivian, right? So, my husband and I, we're the grandparents.
Right.
So it's all fun and games, glitter, rainbows, extra sprinkles on her ice cream. I don't have to raise her to be a adult good citizen. That's her parents' problem.
Right.
Of course we,
support that.
Yeah, we support that, of course. Manners, thank you, please, all that kind of stuff. But if she wants to stay up an extra hour and watch TV with Nanny and Pop-Pop, that happens.
Yeah.
Because, right. So when I let go of trying to be the boss of everything, that gave me the opportunity to do what I wanted.
Right.
To run my life, to deal with whatever I needed to deal with, because I'm not taking on something that's not my responsibility to begin with.
Right. I definitely agree with that. Whenever we start in our center interacting with anyone, that's great advice. Basically, overall, every relationship, we have to know, what's ours, what's theirs, how we interact in that way. And we really, no matter how hard we try or how much as humans we fool ourselves, we really only are in charge of our choices, our decisions, our actions, our energies. We can expand out into the world and support other actions, choices, decisions, and energies, but we can't control them. And so when we're hands out going this is what you should do, that's a double negative judgment or, energy where we're so really you can think, get more flies with honey than you do vinegar. Call it into you, call it into your center, work with it in that way. That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
So you have some really great opportunities for people who have never worked with you before, or maybe people who want to revisit with you on your website, essentialzodiac.com.
Yes.
Do you want to talk about those specials?
Yes. So the specials that I'm offering right now for the spring, the first one is I do a Astro Tarot spread. So that combines astrology and tarot into one reading. And I have one for the spring equinox. So that'll get, we're still getting our garden ready. We're planting. It's still springtime. And this is good for, planning out that garden. The energy would be from now in the spring until the summer solstice in June. And the information for this tarot spread is on the welcome page of my website. You'll see it Astro Tarot. Can't miss it. And then the other special that I'm offering, and this will be under current promotions, also on the welcome page of my website, I am doing a transit report from the spring equinox to the summer solstice. So that's 4 months of transit information. Usually it's only 3. It's totally personal because it's based on your particular natal information. So it would be, just for you. The information will be on that as well, on the website as well.
And that's essentialzodiac.com.
Yes. And I'm on Facebook as well, Essential Zodiac on Facebook. Contact me, text me. I'm pretty easy to get a hold of. I'm everywhere. I'm on Twitter, everything. So.
And we can't forget that we are actually podcast sisters because we both are working out of Muddy Creek Studios with Audrey.
That's
I'm
right.
so glad to have you both here.
Yes, we're getting a little family. I love this. I love the energy here today.
It's so good. And so make sure that you tune into the podcast if you're listening, because Cindy's got some really great stuff to say on there as well.
Yes, and my podcast is on Spotify, Apple, all of it. I also post the podcast on, I should say Audrey does all this, not me. Don't give credit where credit's due. Audrey does all the posting for me.
We are so grateful for that.
But it's also posted on my website as well under podcasts. So, yeah, give a listen, definitely.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, this was a thrill. Thank you. I wish you the best of luck. Oh, everybody out there, you will not be sorry. Please sign up and listen to Sky. You'll get smart.
All right. Thank you so much for being here. We're so grateful.
Oh, you're welcome.
May you all be well. May you be blessed. May you find peace. And may you be whole.
Production of the Be Your Soul podcast is made possible in part by Emerge Skin and Soul, located at 2002 North Elm Street in Greensboro, North Carolina. Emerge Skin and Soul is so much more than just skincare, because you are so much more than just your skin. Emerge believes in offering a skin-to-soul experience, working hand in hand with you to achieve your skincare and self-care goals from the inside out. Offering massage, Reiki, and customized skincare plans coupled with holistic modalities that bring skin, heart, and whole body into balance and harmony. Visit emergeskinandsoul.com today to learn more and to book your appointment. Now for a segment we call That's What Sky Says, with tools to help you use today's topic of divine timing in your daily life.
In this segment, I offer tools and guidance that I have found helpful in my practice, and I hope you will too. Today, we are going to work on gratitude practice to help alleviate roadblocks that may get in the way of trusting divine timing. This is just one of the exercises I teach in my Understanding Energy in Action class that you can find on our website, www.beyoursoul.org. This exercise can be a technique used to become aware of and release negative energies acquired from exposure to unhealthy, repetitive energetic vibrations. By giving our mind space to release, it helps bring a powerful tool to support trusting divine timing, as the negative patterns are reconditioned into healthy choices. By replacing those patterns with a healthy trust of self and intuition, it will allow for us to become our highest version of self with the community and with ourselves. When we work in our personal position of truth in every experience, for neutral, positive, and negative experiences, we can honor our life in every moment just as it is. This also allows us to remember truth brings choice. We can be grateful for where we are and growthful to where we want to be in the same space. Next, we will talk about how to break down roadblocks and barriers and notice where boundaries may be needed. Here's a list of 7 things to pay attention to in your life that can be helpful in fostering trust of divine timing. 1, take ownership. Believing that things happen to you puts you in a position of powerlessness. Accept that you create your life experience. While things may happen, you have a choice in how you handle them. The knowledge that you make a difference in the world is empowering. 2, listen to your voice and cancel negative thoughts by replacing them with positive solution-based actions. Don't let the inner critic rule your head. 3, work on giving your negative thoughts, feelings, and actions up to Source or the universe. The letting go process can be powerful when you know you are not alone in it. 4, become grateful for everything. An attitude of gratitude allows for you to see every part of your life as an ability to change, grow, and learn. Every experience is a miracle. Every connection is a blessing. Basically, because it is. 5, laugh more, period. 6, help others. Negativity goes hand in hand with selfishness and helplessness. Positivity goes in line with self-esteem and community-based thought process. Expand yourself into it. 7, surround yourself with positive people. Connect with like-minded, like-energy people to emphasize what you are striving for and connecting with within yourself. Take a few minutes each day to work on one or more of these, and you will see things shift in how you trust divine timing. It will become easier to feel how you are guided into the right path plan once you break away from the barriers to self-trust. Thanks for joining me today, and I am honored and blessed that you shared this space with me. May you be well, may you feel whole, may you find peace, and may you be blessed.
Thanks for joining us for our second episode of the Be Your Soul podcast. This podcast is published on the second and fourth Fridays of each month. We hope you'll like, follow, and comment on your podcast platform and share this podcast with your family and friends. You can stay connected in between episodes. Visit Be Your Soul Sky if you're on Facebook. On Instagram, it's Be Your Soul Podcast, and you'll find more information at our website, beyoursoul.org. This podcast is produced at Muddy Creek Studios.